Hi guys, it's Michelle with Deception Bytes, and this is who is speaking to you, so you'll know. I'm going to be going over some of the Q-related news, the newest stuff. There's a lot happening, but before I do, I want to take the time to apologize to someone. My last video, what really happened in Hawaii, I think that's what it was called. Hawaii, what really happened. I mentioned a lady called Linda Kirby, and she has a YouTube channel, and I got this video from her channel. I didn't credit her because her channel was, visible for almost 4 minutes on my on the video, but what I did say was not very kind, and I said that I didn't like her voice or something to that effect, and I apologize for that sincerely, because she saw the video and she responded and it hurt her feelings, and I would never ever purposefully hurt somebody's feelings. It was thoughtless and unkind of me, and it was uncalled for. Her voice actually reminds me of a person that was very unkind to me, and I think that's what was irritating me so much about her voice. But it was completely unkind of me to even mention that, and I ask her forgiveness. I hope that she'll hear this, and I ask for your forgiveness as the listeners, because I don't want to be that kind of person. I would not like somebody saying things like that about me, and it was completely uncalled for me to say something like that about someone else. So I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, apologize to her. So moving on from there, and I do hope that she hears this apology. I have written it in the comments as well, but I may take that video down, to tell you the truth, because there's just a lot of negativity on the thread now, and from people that are defending her, and I understand that, because I think if somebody said something about me, possibly some of my regular listeners might go out and defend me. I don't know, but anyway. So let me go on from here, and I'm gonna have to think about taking that video down, but I'm not gonna think about it right now. All right, so today I was just kind of out there. I really probably should have been, decoding the Q messages from a month ago that I have been doing regularly, but I don't know. There's so much happening in the news right now that it just kind of took my interest, and I kind of spent too long looking at news items today. But I'm going to possibly split this into two, because there's a lot. But let's get started. Okay. And we're going to start kind of the broad subject area of censorship in the media. So let's go out and look at this first. I think we're all aware that this is happening out there, but it's interesting that they're reporting on it now. Facebook, Google tells Congress they're fighting extremist content with counter propaganda. Now, when they say they're fighting extremist content, what they mean... Whoops, sorry. Hang on. Sorry about that. What they mean by that is they're fighting any content that they don't agree with. So if it's coming from a right, a far right, or even moderately right position, they're going to censor it. And let's just take a look at this. Facebook, Google, and Twitter told Congress Wednesday that they've gone beyond screening and removing extremist content from their service and are creating more anti-terror propaganda. Executives from 3 largest social media companies shared their latest methods of fighting extremism during testimony before the Senate Commerce Committee. Facebook, Google, and Twitter told Congress Wednesday that they've gone beyond screening and removing extremist content and are creating more anti-terror propaganda to preempt violent messages at the source. Representatives from the three companies told the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation that they are, among other things, targeting people likely to be swayed by extremist messages and pushing content aimed at countering that message. Several senators criticized their past efforts as not going far enough. So really, I mean, I guess we're not smart enough to, filter out these messages, so they have to be our babysitters and hold our hands and tell us what's acceptable for us to view and what isn't. Of course, they're not going to, filter pornography or child pornography or anything like that. That's not what they're going to filter. No, they're going to filter messages that are pro-Trump, or any right-wing messages, even moderately right-wing. So anyway, we believe that a key part of combating extremism is preventing recruitment by disrupting the underlying ideologies that drive people to commit acts of violence. That's why we support a variety of counter-speech efforts, said Monica Bickert, Facebook's head of global policy management, according to an advanced copy of her testimony obtained by CNBC. Excuse me, sorry. Bickert said that in addition to using image matching and language analysis to identify terror content before it's posted, the company is ramping up what it calls counter speech. Now, again, matching and language analysis. Well, I happen to know YouTube, and sorry, when I shift in this chair, I'm sitting in a leather chair, and so when I shift it makes noise, but YouTube, I mean, my gosh, anytime I mention Trump or Q, the video is absolutely, positively, 100% demonetized immediately. And then I have to go through an appeal to have somebody look at it and deem that it's okay for, to be monetized. But there are people being kicked off of YouTube. And it's not for anything major. Like the people that are, aiming stuff at children, inappropriate stuff at children, they're allowed, to run ads on their videos. But my gosh, if you're pro-Trump, you are a danger to society. Anyway, Facebook is also working with universities, non-governmental organizations, and community groups around the world to empower positive and moderate voices, Bickert said. You get that? Positive and moderate voices. They don't want anything negative or that could be viewed as one side or the other. They want, middle of the road, positive, why can't we all just get along? That's what they're looking for. And, apparently, because the media is trying to paint Trump as a racist, a white bigot. Anytime you mention Trump, you're automatically going to be censored. And I've experienced that myself, so I know that to be true. Google's YouTube, meanwhile, says it will continue to use what it calls the redirect method developed by Google's Jigsaw research group to send anti-terror messages to people likely to seek out extremist content through what is essentially targeted advertising. If YouTube determines that a person may be headed towards extremism based on their search history, it will serve them ads that subtly contradict the propaganda they might see from ISIS or other such groups. And they're not targeting ISIS and groups like that. That's not who they're targeting. They're going to tell you that's who they're targeting. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, YouTube supporters, Creators for Change, a group of people who use their channels to counteract hate. And I don't think that people should be, if you're out there hating on a group of people, like the Jews, for example, and I wish people would stop sending me emails about everything being the fault of the Jews, because I don't look at it. But anyway, and I understand about Zionism and all that. I do. I get it. But anyway, so, if you're part of the KKK, we don't want that. But I don't know. I think you know what I'm trying to say. I'm having a hard time communicating it tonight. We believe that a key part of combating extremism is preventing recruitment by disrupting the underlying ideologies that drive people to commit acts of violence. You know what this reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It had what's his name? Tom Cruise in it. It was Minority Report. It's like they're targeting people not because they've committed an act, but because they're going to, or they might. And in that movie, the first part of it, they're arresting somebody not because he's commit murder, but because he's going to, because they know they could read people's facial expressions, everything was monitored, everything. So they knew what you were going to do before you did it. And that's what's happening. That is exactly what's happening in our world. We are really getting to that point where we're going to start being punished, not for what we've done, but what we're going to do. That's scary. That's scary. Anyway, the video site is also adapting how it deals with videos that are offensive but don't technically violate its community guidelines, putting this so-called borderline content behind interstitials and removing comments, according to the testimony of Juniper Downs, YouTube's head of public policy. And what they're doing, and I know this for a fact because there are people that I have subscribed to on YouTube that just disappear from my subscribed list. It's like YouTube decides in all of their wisdom that, oh, I don't think she needs to be subscribing to this person, so we'll unsubscribe her. That's happening a lot. And it's probably happened to me. There's probably people that have subscribed to me that I've dropped out of their subscribed list because, the gods at YouTube, think that I'm dangerous because, I'm talking about Q. So it's interesting. And the other thing is they remove comments. They're doing all this stuff, but you don't know. You don't know. And they're doing another thing on Twitter called shadow banning. Shadow banning is you're sending a tweet out and you think it went out, but it didn't. They intercept it. So you think it looks like it's gone out, but nobody ever gets it. That's shadow banning. And that's what's happening. So, it's like the gods of these companies are deciding what you can see and what you can't see. But I'm sure if you go out and look at pornography, you can do that all day long. Nobody will bother you there. It's just if you have a different political opinion than what is considered the target. That's when you're going to see it. Interesting. So, our advances in machine learning let us now take down nearly 70% of violent extremism content within 8 hours of upload and nearly half of it in 2 hours, Downs said. Twitter's Carlos Monge, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Director of Public Policy and Philanthropy in the U.S. and Canada, said the company had participated in more than 100 training events since 2015 on countering extremist content. And don't get me wrong, I don't think, we should be allowing videos on ISIS training and recruitment and things like that. Certainly not. But if you have a different political opinion than the norm, how is that harmful, really? If you're out there talking about Q posts, why is that harming anybody? If somebody finds it offensive, they don't listen. I don't know. So those training sessions included events in Beirut, Bosnia, Belfast, and Brussels, and summits at the White House, the United Nations, and in London and Sydney, Monge said in his prepared testimony. Tech companies under fire from lawmakers. The U.S.-based tech giants have come under fire in the U.S. and Europe for allowing their websites to be used by Islamic terrorists and other extremists. And I'm pretty sure that you know that that's not the real problem, right? I'm pretty sure. The German government passed a law last year that fines internet companies for allowing hate speech to remain on the site for more than 24 hours. Leaders in France and the UK, which have suffered a series of terrorist attacks, have threatened similar action. Now the companies are feeling the heat in Washington after revelations that extremists are using their service to recruit and target Americans. And somewhere here it talks about them hiring they're hiring, well, maybe it isn't in here. Anyway, they're hiring more people, like Facebook is or not Facebook, but YouTube is hiring more people so that they can view, like these people can view the videos and decide whether they're okay for you to view or not. And that's what they're doing. And basically, if, for all my videos, they start off usually demonetized and they won't allow me to put an ad or anything on them, which is fine. But then I have to appeal that. And, usually they say that they review it when your video gets to 1,000 views. But I've seen it take up to 15 to 20,000 views before you get it looked at by a human being, and they decide, oh yeah, okay, I guess people can look at this. Yeah. So anyway, so that's that. Now, this is another thing of, selectively, the news people selecting what they're going to report on and what they're not going to report on, because Trump's biggest 2017 triumphs have been buried by ABC, CBS, and NBC newscasts, and I think we realize that. But what is their motivation for doing that? I mean, we know, but really, if you're reporting the news, report the news. The three broadcast networks devoted less than 1% of last year's news coverage to the president's major accomplishments. Major network news all but completely ignored President Donald Trump's major accomplishments in 2017, devoting just 30 minutes in a year to the chief executive's action on deregulation, expediting pipeline projects, reforming veterans' care, and naming conservative judges to the federal courts. Those issues are among some of Trump's biggest boasts, but the Media Research Center found that White House controversies, from allegations of collusions with Russia to the chief's executive tweets, got the lion's share of 2017 coverage, a total of 43 hours on the three broadcast networks' evening news shows. Not surprising. The center, which monitored all of 2017 newscasts of ABC, CBS, and NBC, crunched the numbers and found Trump's accomplishments got short shrift with the big three networks. Of 99 hours and 3 minutes devoted to Trump-related stories, a mere half hour was devoted to Trump accomplishments, just 0.5% of coverage. The accomplishments that got the most coverage was Trump's deregulatory efforts at 11 minutes and 11 seconds. The least talked about accomplishment, drilling in the Arctic, despite the fact that no president was able to get drilling approved in the Alaskan National Wilderness or Wildlife Refuge. Since initial authorization in 1979, Trump pulled it off in December. The move is likely to help keep oil prices under $100 per barrel, but the three networks gave the story 22 seconds. Other Trump accomplishments: expedited pipelines, including Keystone XL and Dakota Access, got 7 minutes and 16 seconds from the big three networks. The religious freedom actions of the White House received 6 minutes and 7 seconds. Improvement in veterans' care got 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Conservative judges got a paltry 37 seconds. In 1 year, even Trump won confirmation of more new judges than did his predecessor in his first year. The study did not include the appointment of Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch, whose appointment and confirmation garnered 71 minutes. The right-leaning MRC did not include tax reform, which Congress passed and Trump signed into law. On Tuesday, MRC noted in another part of its study that the three networks gave Trump negative coverage 90% of the time. Rich Noyes, senior editor of MRC's Newsbuster website, wrote that the media were too focused on Trump himself and the change in administration. It meant other issues, and of course, Trump's triumphs were ignored. There's no question that the three broadcast networks, along with the rest of the liberal media establishment, regarded Trump's presidency as the biggest story of 2017, Noyes wrote. Too bad they didn't spend more than a few moments on these significant accomplishments. And I would agree. I mean, the jobless rate is the lowest it's been since 1973, and the stock market's up. I mean, the economy's doing great. There's been a lot of good things that Trump has done over the last year. And I'm not even necessarily for Trump. I'm definitely not against him. I'm one of those let's wait and see people. But to tell you the truth, what I've seen so far, I'm impressed with. So there you go. Now, here's another interesting thing, because we all know, and I don't use foul language, but I am going to say this just because it sounds immature if I don't. But DHS Secretary under oath, Trump didn't say shithole. And you know, I mean, that has been such a huge, huge media storm about him saying that, and he didn't even say it. Which doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. So, DHS Secretary under oath, Trump didn't say shithole. Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen testified under oath Tuesday that she did not hear President Trump call Haiti, El Salvador, and other developing nations shithole countries in a controversial meeting last week, though she did say he used tough language. Mr. Nielsen also said other congressmen in the meeting used tough language when they were negotiating with Mr. Trump. I actually was struck more by the fact that the conversation had gotten to a place where many people in the room were using inappropriate language in the Oval Office, she said, saying she remembered specific cuss words being used by a variety of members. Senator Richard Durbin, the Illinois Democrat who has driven the issue of Mr. Trump's word, said he did not use foul language, and Ms. Nielsen agreed. So, and we could read more, but it's not necessary. That's what I wanted you to see there, that he didn't even say this. And there's, you know, Senator Richard Durbin is the Democrat who's driven the issue of his words, but he said that he didn't use foul language. So, where did this come from? I don't know. Don't know. If you know, please put it in the comments below, because I'd like to know how it got started. I never did hear how it got started, except that someone said that he said that in a meeting. Okay, now this is, oh no, this isn't the funny one. This is going to be funny. I'm just warning you, it's funny. But we're going to look at this first. Trump reveals fake news award winners. Website promptly crashes. So many people went out to the website that it crashed the website. And I think that's hysterical. Donald Trump has revealed his frequently touted fake news award winners on Wednesday night, and the GOP's website with the list promptly crashed. But no worries, we've got the full list of Trump's winners below. Oh, sorry. I had a yawn that just kind of attacked my face out of nowhere. The New York Times' Paul Krugman claimed on the day of the President Trump's historic landslide victory that the economy would never recover. Yeah, I'd say that was a fake news story. ABC News' Brian Ross chokes and sends markets in a downward spiral with false report. 3, CNN falsely reported that candidate Donald Trump and his son Donald J. Trump Jr. had access to hacked documents from WikiLeaks. Fake. Time falsely reported that President Trump removed a bust of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. He didn't. It's made up. Washington Post falsely reported the president's massive sold-out rally in Pensacola, Florida was empty. Dishonest reporter showed picture of empty arena hours before the crowd started pouring in. Fake news. CNN falsely edited a video to make it appear President Trump defiantly overfed fish. I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy. He overfed fish during a visit with the Japanese Prime Minister. Japanese Prime Minister actually led the way with the feeding. CNN falsely reported about Anthony Scaramucci's meeting with a Russian, but retracted it due to significant breakdown in process. Newsweek falsely reported that Polish First Lady Agatha Kornhauser Duda did not shake President Trump's hand. That was false. CNN falsely reported that former FBI Director James Comey would dispute President Trump's claim that he was told he is not under investigation. False. The New York Times falsely claimed on the front page that Trump administration had hidden a climate report. They hadn't. It was false. The New York Times, okay, I just read that. And last but not least, Russia collusion. Russia collusion is perhaps the greatest hoax perpetrated on the American people. There is no collusion. I think we've all kind of come to that realization, or at least those of us that have been looking into this. All of which seems more like a series of early morning Trump tweets than an awards show, but ta-da! Trump and GOP.com offer visuals and examples. In most cases, some are photos of headlines as evidence for each award. See more here. That's something that you can do if you want to see more. You can go to GOP.com and view that if you haven't already. So now this, I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know why. I laughed and laughed and laughed when I saw this. If you haven't seen this, it's funny, I think. I had to show you. It's on somebody's Twitter account, and it's the Columbia Bugle. Oh, hang on. I'm going to start it over.
This is not real estate. This is the WWE. Oh, no! Oh, watch me, Spear!
Okay, you got to admit that's funny. Let's watch it one more time. Hang on, let me turn this up here. My favorite part is Hillary Clinton. Okay.
Mr. Trump not coming alone. I like how he travels. Donald Trump is in a world he is not familiar with. This is not real estate. This is the WWE. Oh, no! Oh, watch me, Spear! Watch me, Spear! Hey, look at this! Donald Trump! Oh, my God! What the hell? The rate just increased.
So anyway, the Columbia Bugle, I don't know, I don't subscribe to this person, and I'm not even sure how I found it, but they must have posted something on somebody that I am subscribed to, but I just thought that, I don't know why, it's funny. I don't even know who to credit that video to, but it's so well done. It's very, very well done. All right. I've had my laugh. Now, speaking of fake news, okay, this is, you know, after watching that little bit of humor, this is going to be a little bit more serious. You know, I have never seen this video. And again, I found this on someone's Twitter feed, and it shows the so-called airplane hitting the Pentagon, but look at it. It's kind of hard to see, and I apologize for that. It is on a Twitter feed. It's on Trish the Dish. And she says the plane that hit the Pentagon sure looks an awful lot like a missile. Now, it's right here. I'll play it. You see it? It doesn't look like an airplane to me, but I don't know. So, I thought that was interesting. And it just keeps playing over and over again. It's just the same thing playing over and over again. But I had not seen that. I had not seen that. And again, this person is Trish the Dish at Trisha Dishes. I don't know. But I saw that and I thought that's interesting because I had never seen that. Now, let's go back. Now, I'm kind of torn as to, like, those are all the media ones. I have so much stuff to cover and I don't know. I guess I'll go on a little bit. I'm going to go out to this because it's very interesting. How they plan to control everything in your life. And this is from a website called Patriots for Truth. I've never, and it's patriots4truth.org. I've never been out to this website before. I haven't looked at it previously, but I did find this article, and I do plan to come back and kind of view and see what they have on here because it looks like an interesting website. How they plan to control everything in your life. Monstrous patent calls people, quote, wetware. Implanted device deliver electric shock, poisons, dopamine, adrenaline, emit mind control frequencies. Hewlett-Packard and Agilent Technologies are complicit. So let's see what this is about. And this is Richard C. Walker of Agilent Technologies, Palo Alto, California, holds monstrous Internet of Things patents that can take down planes with remote instructions to one little QRS-11 sensor in the autopilot system. Now, what was it that Q had said that 7 out of 10 plane crashes are targeted kills? Now we know how they're doing it, right? They can do it with just take down planes with remote instructions to one little QRS-11 sensor in the autopilot system. Doesn't that make you feel safe when you fly? Knowing that someone can decide that there's someone on that plane that doesn't have the right to live anymore, and, well, too bad, so sad, you happen to be on the plane too. Doesn't that make you feel safe? It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. The global surveillance grid includes embedded chips in planes, devices, equipment, and people to remotely send signals and control every element of the Internet of Things network. The QRS-11 quartz rate sensor, the diameter of a quarter, is embedded in most aircraft autopilots. Yes, I think it's appropriate that they have a picture of Hillary there. The intelligence version of the sensor can be turned off remotely and bring down the plane. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Hillary Clinton's Rose law firm in Little Rock, Arkansas, was the original attorney representing the inventor of the QRS-11 sensor in BEI, Electronics Technologies U.S. patent. Okay. This sensor was so critical to national security that the State Department fined Boeing $16 million for illegal exports. After many mergers and company sales, the rights to the QRS-11 went to France for a decade, owned by Schneider Electric SA. Schneider sold the rights to Barclays Bank client in London. The Rose law partner who hired Hillary, J. Joseph I'm not sure how to pronounce that, served on the BEI Technologies board of directors. He also coordinated the Clintons' China and Indonesia banking connections associated with their Mena, Arkansas drug smuggling. Is it Mena, Arkansas, or Mena? I think it's Mena, Arkansas drug smuggling, money laundering, and sex trafficking. Interesting. Barclays then sold the company and the QRS-11 patent right to Sensata Inc., which is controlled by Mitt Romney's Goldman Sachs-aligned Bain Capital in Boston. Tellingly, dozens of former Clinton staff have died in mysterious airplane and vehicle crashes. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though, right? Right? also telling the late FBI superstar Ted Gunderson said in 2005 that Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh had a biochip surgically installed in him by Dr. Louis Jolly West, who led the rogue CIA MK Ultra mind control program. Well, look at there. There's something that we always knew, but we didn't know, right? I mean, I've always known that there was something very, very odd about that. I never believed the official story. So apparently he had one of these chips implanted in him. Conveniently for Bill and Hillary, the Oklahoma City bombing destroyed the records of the FBI investigation on Janet Reno's Waco criminality. Well, isn't that convenient? Huh. Who would have thought? I'm sure it's just a coincidence, though. Just a coincidence. Let's see, where was I? The bombing also killed former Clinton Chief of Security Alan Witcher, 4 other Clinton bodyguards, C. LeBleu, T.T. McKeeham, R. Williams, S. Willis, were shot in the head by a helicopter sniper at the illegal military siege of the Branch Davidian property in Waco, Texas, 1993. Some call these deaths arkancide, since somewhere I was just seeing recently how many of Clinton's former bodyguards are dead, and it was alarming. Can't remember where I saw that, but it was out in my travels somewhere, and it was very interesting. Some call these deaths arkancide, since most everyone associated with the Clintons in Arkansas, except Larry Nichols, have died. Nichols produced the Clinton Chronicles, 1994, to expose the Clinton devilish corruption. What Americans for Innovation and American intelligence media researchers have discovered is breathtaking, disgusting, astounding, and monstrous. It is also shocking how far along the plan is. Amazingly, the deep state shadow government, in its evident hubris, has fully disclosed their diabolical technology scheme for the Internet of Things in writing. Their plan is to identify, tag, track, and control literally everything on the planet. Their unquestioned plan is to embed microelectronic control devices, either surgically or by injection, in every human being on the planet. To them, it's all about management of the world's resources, including you. And this is Walker Patent number 6965816. Column 118, lines 53 to 54. Why would they publish these plans? Seriously, why would they? But you and I both know that they always tell us in advance what they're going to do. It's some sort of weird Luciferian rule. They evidently believed that these documents would not surface until after they had seized control. Unbelievably, you are just wetware. These documents show that their authors have a total disdain for humanity. These define people as wetware. In this worldview, a human is merely a silicon chip surrounded by a membrane of carbon and water. These are people who are planning to take over the world. Read for yourself. Here are the 2 lines captured from the actual patent. This requires hardware, software, and wetware, people. The procedures and protocols. Wow. PFN means Protected Primary Focal Node. TRAC means Trusted Remote Activity Controller. The illustrations in Walker's patent are truly dystopian, a community or society that is undesirable and or frightening, and they have been implemented. Their message is clear. You can run, but you cannot hide. In this illustration, even the trees are watching you. Here is figure 21 from Walker's patent. Click image to enlarge. I think we need to do that. Okay, this is a personal and equipment PFN, digipeating wireless translation and NINA routing emergency matrix. So, interesting. So we've got this person running away, and all these things are, this is a tank, this is, I don't know, a truck of some sort, police car, ambulance, trees, the web. Interesting. And these are all multiple wireless IP gateways. So even the trees will be a wireless IP gateway. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not really all that thrilled about the trees watching me, but hey, we probably would be shocked to know we would probably be, hang on. We would probably be shocked to know how many times a day we appear on camera. We probably would, because I don't think any of us are aware. You know, every time we come up to a four-way, like a stop, or they're all along the they're everywhere. It's unbelievable. So, patents are intentionally arcane and hard to understand. For example, inequitable conduct means fraud. Prosecute means make filings. On sale bar means sell an invention too soon. Markman handles technical definitions. Pro hac vice means an out-of-state attorney. Pro se means represent yourself, and so on. Patent lingo insulates the old boy club of patent lawyers and judges from we the people accountability. So, categories of intellectual property. Patents are a form of intellectual property alongside trade secrets, copyrights, trademarks, and trade dress. Here's a thumbnail tutorial. Trade secrets are anything you do or think that is not publicly known that you have taken reasonable means to protect, like the way you solve a problem or build something. Copyrights are your thoughts reduced to some medium like pen, paper, program, or design, like books, artwork, types, or manuscripts. Trademarks are unique names, phrases, and other expressions used in commerce and assigned to you in order to avoid confusion in your marketplace. For example, it would be confusing to have two companies in your state with the same names. Trade dress is the sum total of the way something is designed, like the unique colors and style used in a franchise store design and product packaging. Finally, patents are unique and non-obvious inventions, methods, and designs. Patents do not have to be working to be patentable. They just have to be described well enough to be repeated by a person of ordinary skill in the art. We'll describe what this means below. Patents and copyrights are the only two property rights specifically protected by the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8. Indeed, the founders protected inventors because new ideas are essential to creating new wealth. They also knew that innovations are fragile flowers that would otherwise be hijacked by greed, power, and wealth if not protected. Tragically, the patent system has been hijacked by many corrupt lawyers and judges who themselves steal from real inventors and grow rich in the process. Patents are a property deed and contract. A patent is a contract and a property deed. The contract is between we the people and the inventor. We give the inventor 20 years to exploit his or her idea for the benefit of society and to be rewarded for sharing the invention with the public. The patent document itself describes the innovation. It's like the four corners of a physical property deed. Survey, terrain, frontage, roads, vegetation, water, drainage, utilities. Similarly, a patent describes an inventor's new idea in words and diagrams. A patent must contain enough detail to enable a third party with ordinary skill in the art to replicate it ostensibly for the benefit of society. The expectation is that the third party will license the underlying patent in the process of adding value to it. Richard Walker's patent could not work without Leader Technologies' social networking invention, so they stole it. Walker has not licensed the invention of social networking from Leader Technologies. Instead, as this Walker patent reveals, they just stole it. Here's the proof. Art means the field of the invention, like computer hardware, software, furniture, machinery, medical device, pharmaceutical, consumer product, office product, tool, manufacturing method, agricultural implement, vehicle type, etc. The Patent Office uses the North American Industry Classification System for the tens of thousands of art classifications. An inventor must describe his or her invention in enough detail so that one of ordinary skill in the patent classification being described can replicate it. The Walker patent discussed below identified both U.S. and international industry classifications. a monstrous family of patents. So, unbelievable. It's a patent to enable the deep state to crash almost any aircraft. Data processing vehicles, navigation, relative location with indication or control of landing, remote control system, automatic electric course control by remote radio signal, and international data processing systems or methods specifically adapted for administrative, commercial, financial, managerial, supervisory, or forecasting purposes, healthcare, informatics, methods or arrangements for processing data by operating upon the order or content of the data handled. Like, this is really huge. I mean, I would not believe this. I would not believe this if somebody had told me. If someone had told me, I wouldn't have believed it. It's just unbelievable. We recently uncovered U.S. patent number 6965816, awarded on November 15th, 2005, to the named sole inventor, Richard C. Walker, titled PFN TRAC System FAA Upgrades for Accountable Remote and Robotics Control to stop the unauthorized use of aircraft and to improve equipment management and public safety and transportation. Now, yeah. So I don't know how bringing an airplane down is supposed to improve public safety and transportation, unless they're thinking another, 9/11. They could bring down an airplane in a case like that where it was being hijacked. But yeah, while this patent focuses on aircraft, it is written so broadly as to encompass all kinds of equipment and devices, including people, defined as wetware. While the patent was issued on November 15th, 2005, it incorporates filings going all the way back to December 2nd, 1996. Most patents incorporate provisional patents and related technology upon which they rely. AFI and American Intelligence Media researchers catalog those claims for this patent below. Several critical pieces of information emerge. First, these patents to remotely control vehicles started being filed within 2 months of the passage of the Economic Espionage Act of 1996 during Bill Clinton's first term. Ooh, that's interesting. The EEA was written by law professor James P. Chandler. Robert Mueller, James Comey, Rod Rosenstein, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Larry Sumner were strategically positioned at the top of the Justice Department and Treasury. The patentee, Richard C. Walker, could have patented a ham sandwich had this group wanted it. Yeah. I think I'm going to try and patent a ham sandwich. Second, the evident intent of the Walker patent was to illustrate the technology planned for control of everything, the Internet of Things. Their justification, the benevolent control of vehicles and aircraft in hijack situations, was merely the cover story for the development of a global surveillance grid on everyone and everything. Given the timing of these Walker filings around 9/11, one is increasingly skeptical about who really caused 9/11. Yes, one is. Third, Robert S. Mueller's law firm, Wilmer Hale, LLP, formerly Hale and Dorr, LLP, drove Walker's filings. Mueller was sworn in as FBI director just 7 days before 9/11. This clearly implicates Wilmer Hale in the treachery. Curiouser and curiouser. Fourth, the global data sharing platform described in this patent was not doable by the likes of IBM, Microsoft, Boeing, AT&T, and Cisco. They were all behind the curve from an R&D perspective when the internet emerged. For example, Bill Gates thought it was a fad. The telephone pager network that Walker described could not scale to the volumes required for such global communication. James P. Chandler surely could not believe his luck when in early 2000 Michael McCumber of Leader Technologies was first introduced to him. Leader was looking for the best patent attorney in the country to protect its social networking innovations. Chandler, on the other hand, needed a fix for the deep state's ailing digital takeover master plan. He agreed immediately to be Leader's patent attorney. He then spent the next 3 years deceiving Leader until he was able to get his hands on the underlying engineering source code, which he immediately shuffled to the IBM Eclipse Foundation, where DOJ's Eric Holder and IBM's David Kapos were waiting, along with Cisco, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, Kleiner Perkins, Qualcomm, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, AT&T, and a host of other rogue CIA providers. Leader's source code was essential to building the Internet of Things quickly. The table below shows the patent filings included in the PFN/TRAC system, FAA. The eventual patent focused on remote control of aircraft, but also subsumed control of vehicles, ships, equipment, commerce, education, and people. Wetware, yeah. I really like being called wetware, don't you? Makes me feel like a valuable human being. So, this is the real-time vehicle recovery system, including stop box that restricts unauthorized use of vehicle, secure communications and control system for monitoring, recording, reporting, and or restricting unauthorized use of vehicle. Just a bunch. Like, I don't think I'm going to read all of this. But, oh, look, Robert S. Mueller, the third, appointed by George Bush as FBI director. Oh, look, and durable, high barrier, metallicized polypropylene film for embedded body electronics. Yeah, we need a patent for that. And what's this? Unauthorized use of aircraft and to improve equipment management and public safety in transportation. Let's see. Did Walker really invent all these patents? Walker is a geek scientist who has worked inside the bowels of Hewlett-Packard. Oh, doesn't that sound pleasant? And Agilent Technologies his entire career. I don't think I want to work inside of anybody's bowels. But anyway, we do not believe that Walker is the sole inventor. The sheer breadth of global policy perspective incorporated in these documents show a collective policy mind. Our hunch is that they are derived from the illegal Highlands Group, which has been secretly convened since late 1994 by the Department of Defense to begin coordinating the deep state takeover of the Internet. According to Walker's resume, he was a principal staff scientist at Hewlett-Packard for 21 years from January 1981 to 2002. Since 2002, he's been senior R&D electrical engineer at Agilent Technologies, for whom he continues to file patents. So, this is his biography, which we don't really care about. I don't. Walker has consistently failed to disclose his Klein & Walker LLC company that claims ownership of this 170-page total global surveillance Internet of Things patent, even though he assigned the patent to Klein & Walker LLC, a defunct company, on November 15, 2005. Yep. So, I'm not going to read all this because it's really, really, really long. Agilent Technologies is evidently a deep state surveillance supplier. Walker's current employer, Agilent Technologies, was a spin-off of HP that went public on November 18, 1999. That was only a week after Bill Clinton and his Treasury Secretary Larry Summers abolished Glass-Steagall. Summers' chief of staff was then Sheryl K. Sandberg, the subsequent creator of Gmail, and the current chief operating officer of Facebook, 2008 to current. Another Summers employee then was Marnie L. Levine, who married a disgraced CIA director, John M. Deutsch's son, and is now chief operating officer at Instagram. Deutsch was pardoned by Bill Clinton on the same day as Mark Rich. It's truly a cozy little world at the top of the criminal Internet of Things. It seems that way, doesn't it? Agilent raised $2.1 billion and was the largest Silicon Valley public offering ever at that time. The usual globalist shadow government suspects were the Agilent underwriters: Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan. The insider trading is evident. To put the Agilent Technologies HP actions in context, on July 14th, 1999, President Bill Clinton formed the National Intellectual Property Assurance Council by Executive Order number 13130 with James P. Chandler III. A few months later, on September 29th, 1999, President Bill Clinton formed In-Q-Tel to run a rogue CIA private venture capital company in Silicon Valley, and I think we've probably all heard of In-Q-Tel. Okay, so what else do we have here? Here's a complete U.S. Patent Office list of the patents attributed to Richard C. Walker as the inventor. 11 are assigned to Hewlett-Packard and 14 are assigned to Agilent Technologies. These patents are very evidently refinements of Walker's control everything patent. They are full of euphemisms, deceptions, to obscure the true censorship purpose. Walker patented Predator spy glasses. U.S. patent number 6735328, filed on March 7th, 2000, soon after Agilent was founded, awarded May 11th, 2004, assigned to Agilent Technologies, is titled Personal Viewing Device with System for Providing Identification Information to a Connected System. Walker helped patent a system for spies to identify anyone or anything, Internet of Things, by wearing his glasses as the viewing device. Read, you can run, but you can't hide, from Walker and his Predator friends. Apparently not. So, I think this kind of, here's the spy glasses. Yeah. They probably already exist. I mean, isn't that sort of like the Google glasses? You know, and I mean, they've got apps now where you can hold them up to the sky. It'll tell you what constellation you're viewing, and you can, I mean, really, this technology's out there. So, yeah. This system can crash planes and vehicles remotely. Yes, we know that. But tell us again, because we never get tired of hearing it. This system was planned to control the global economy, socioeconomic and environmental technology, accounting system for democratic government. How is it democratic if everything is being controlled for us? I don't know. But this appears like a Soviet-style central government system. Yes, yes, it does. So, yeah. Memo to wetware. The Internet of Things plans to control everything in your life and your family's life. Yeah. Like, honestly, what's this? Can this technocratic takeover be stopped? Yes, but we must start removing the spying tools immediately. Defund these criminals. Yay, yes. Stop the criminals who are responsible for this, which means we need to lock up Hillary and the others truly responsible. Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely. But it's just very interesting. Now, what is this? Listen to Betsy and Thomas discuss this article. Anyway, there's probably lots more out there on this. This is the first I've heard of this, but I did know that there was technology available to crash airplanes and cars. I did know that. But as far as everything else goes, I mean, honestly, I've been thinking that in the future, we'll probably even have smart toilets that can, you know, weigh our stool and tell us if we're eating enough fiber, or if there's blood in our stool, or whatever, or, you know, analyze our urine for us. I mean, honestly, I really foresee, if things continue the way they're going, everything will be, you know, our fridge, we'll have smart fridges. In fact, I think there already are smart fridges, if I'm not mistaken, that can actually do a food list for you. Of things that you need. I'm not kidding. I read that somewhere. I can't remember where I've read it, but I have. Anyway, so this is all very interesting, and I do believe it's all sort of Q related. definitely goes along with the things that Q's been talking about. So I'm going to end this video here, but I think I'm going to do another one because I have a lot of news articles to get to, and I think they're important. So I will talk to you later, and thank you so much for listening, and I hope you're having a wonderful evening and that you continue to have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.